Alright, welcome back to the round 4 match of GPP, and I'm playing against Purple, who's the person that helped me build this deck. So we got the Purple versus Ricky matchup in round 4. Usually that's a matchup that's reserved for the top cut. But we're just gonna have to run through it now. And Purple's on Blue-Red Temple, and I'm playing Ramp deck, so I'm not super happy about this matchup. I think they're probably favored just because they're playing a Temple deck and I'm playing a Ramp deck. If I draw well enough, then maybe I don't have to worry about it. Alright, I mean this hand's it's a bit slow, but like there's no turn 1 Primal Resurgence, but there is a turn 2 Twisted Masterwork. I mean it probably gets countered, but I have 2 towers and a Twisted Masterwork and EHS, so like that's a lot of value. So if I ever make it through the early game, then I'm pretty set. But yeah, I think Purple is also going to be recording their point of view, so it'll be fun. And that's what we usually do when we play against each other. And Purple actually has to mull their opening hand, so that's pretty good for me. They have to go down to 5. Oof. They are on play, right? Like, yeah, they're on the play. So they do get to keep up Cosmic Sinkhole, which would have mattered if I actually had a Primal Resurgence, but I don't. So keep up Twisted Masterwork is one of the main benefits of having instant speed ramping growth effect, so that you can keep it up against stuff like Cosmic Sinkhole. Like, if they want to wait until, if they want to hold up mana to counter my Twisted Masterwork, then I just get to untap and slam Tower over the sky, which is really good for me. I'm assuming this Amber Hill is fetching a white source. And then the truth, I'm getting insane draws this game. I'll just pass. Yeah, like if they want, now it also whips their Portal Factor for a turn. Seems like Purple did mulligan down to a hand that has a counter spell, and I just threw the perfect hand to let me play around that, which is nice. I managed to waste their first 2 turns of mana. Okay, let's see if they're just gonna slam a 3-drop. Like I can easily imagine them keeping a hand where it's just counter spell into a Getaway Rider or something. Well, anyways, now I'm actually gonna go for it. Let's see if they counter it. I guess if they have Cosmic Sinkhole plus, or like if they have 2 counter spells, they can hit the tower this turn too. Well, like if they have Portal Fracture, I want them to use it now so that they don't get to make tokens off of it. So yeah, if they Portal Fracture the tower, I think I'm fine with that outcome. Anyways, do I fetch red here? How important is fetching red for me? I have 2 towers. Like if one of them is gonna resolve eventually, I'll just fetch green, right? Nah, I should play it safe. I'm gonna fetch for my off colors. Anyways, let's see if they have Portal Factor. I'm assuming they do, or maybe just second Cosmic Sinkhole. They do run Portal Factor, right? Like I'm not wrong on that, right? Yeah, they run Portal Factor or a Cosmic Sinkhole, and there's a Portal Factor just in time to not make tokens. If I don't draw a land next turn, then I'm just gonna have to try to run out Tower over the sky again. And they're probably out of counter spells by now. Like 2 counter spells. What instant speed things do they have? Panya, let's see, Cane Dance. Oh, yeah, I'm very worried about Cane. Like, if they have a Cane Dancer in hand, I could play around that. I just pass turn Twisted Masterwork to ramp me to 4. That feels really bad. I can Twisted Masterwork for Ramsey, which ramps me in a way that plays around the counter spell. Honestly, the bigger question here is, if I want to play on my turn, do I play Tower or Endless Helpless Souls? Because the thing with VHS is that it's a lower priority target, or it's less valuable to me. If I end up turning Twisted Masterwork, either they counter or they don't counter, and I get to start paying for counters off the Ramsey, right? The top deck Atlantic and Tower, and yeah, I don't think it's great. I'm just gonna try to run another tower into their Cane Dance. Fine, like I'm gonna run Endless Helpless Souls into the counter spell. Yep, there we go. Oh, they don't have Wanderlust because they drew 2 copies of their non-basic. That's pretty nice. Are they also going to do something else? Oh, they're going to crest the Cane Dance. That's a pretty fun interaction that you can do with Cane Dancer. I didn't realize that combo's in the deck. So now they have a crest in hand, basically, because Cane Dancer will free cast a crest on ETB. I mean, that's fine. It answers one of my big Coalesce guys, but like right now, my main worry isn't playing out big Coalesce guys, it's actually just getting my mana up. How many answers do they have to Higgins? They have Void Flare and Shilon Gust. That's only 5 removal spells. Interesting. Like, if I Higgins, then I still don't get the children. Yeah, I should probably just tower, just so that maybe I get to Higgins mana, or I get to 6 lands, so I can play Children of the Clouds, even if they have nothing on board, and then I end up turn grab Higgins. If it survives, I play Children for a bunch, and that probably seals the game. Yeah, that seems like a good plan. I'm gonna fetch with Timber Range and grab Flourishing Karass, because no point in not grabbing my non-basics right now. And yeah, let's see if Tower over the Sky resolves. Seems like the answer is no. Is it Cosmic Cinco or Pearl Factory? Oh, no, they're digging. Alright, that's a good sign. It resolves. They're out of counter spells. Good. So, what do I do? Actually, yeah, I just play out the little pick with the extra mana I have. So it's basically a 4-mana 3/3 that ramps me by 2 lands. That's a really good outcome. Okay, and they have to kill it. Oh, that's one less removable spell going towards Higgins. Oh, but they have access to Shield and Gust Arcane Dancer now. Ominous Discovery. Interesting. That's another... Well, it's gonna mill 2 cards, so that's more Arcane Dancer targets. But like, I managed to get one of my tower little pigs through, so that means I'm at 6 mana now, and 6 land even, which means Children of the Clouds is now live. And like, end step Children's is always something I can do, and something that they can't really stop. Oh, they're gonna tap out. Okay, that's oh no, they are tapping out. Okay, so Children of the Clouds is probably going to be a very good play. Yeah, I can Twisted Masterwork for Higgins and then Children's for 6. Or 5, I mean, because I have 6 mana if I grab Higgins. Alternatively, I can just Children's straight up for 1, 2, 6. I think I should just Children's straight up for 6, because it preserves my Twisted Masterwork. I mean, actually, getting Higgins to play might be good, because, like, it's a must-kill. If they don't kill Higgins, then next turn I get to start towering and coalescing EHS. So, yeah. The play here is play land untap, fetch a basic, Twisted Masterwork for Higgins, and then Children of the Clouds for 5. Do they have any board wipes main? No, they do not, right? They don't have any board wipes on the side either, right? Yeah, so Children of Clouds is always going to be very good in this matchup. Well, anyways, enough talking, let's go for it. And like, there's no free counter spells in their deck, so I don't have to worry about them interacting during my turn. And yeah, X equals 5. I don't even have to sack any lands because my Children's is small enough. But yeah, let's see how they deal with this board. If they don't deal with the Children's, then that's a lot of flying guys that they have to worry about. If they do deal with the Children's, then they're not dealing with the Higgins. And what's that? Team of Falconeer is not getting through. Or the Bluebird, I mean. Sure, I'll trade. They get to recast Ominous Discovery, but like, I'd rather them... Actually, right, good point. Maybe I shouldn't have traded, because like, Team of Falconeer wasn't actually really doing anything on the board. Sure, they get to scry and put a counter on it, but with Ominous Discovery, they basically get to scry 3 and draw a card. But they probably found an answer for Higgins. Oh, they're gonna Panya right away. Okay, sure. That's quite scary. And they do still have Cane Dancer in hand, right? Like, their last card is Cane Dancer. Oh, no, the Cane Dancer... Oh, they probably milled the Cane Dancer. Yeah, so they have access to Cheetle and Gust, so which means they can answer Higgins whenever they want. Maybe I shouldn't have grabbed Higgins. Okay, I'm just gonna take here. Like, I'm okay getting whacked for 5 just for a single turn. Oh, Team of Falconeer gets the trigger. Okay, that's worrisome. Maybe I should have thought about that before doing that, but like, I want my birds to survive. My birds are pretty good. So what do I do if Higgins gets killed? How close am I to just coalescing EHSs? 7 lands after Higgins gets killed. That means I can coalesce Tower Over the Sky. Okay, so they finally used up their Cane Dancer, which means I don't have to worry about Cane Dancering a counter spell. They still might be holding a Portal Factor in hand, but I'm not going to worry about playing around that. Okay, there's EHS just off the top. I still have 1 Little Pig left. I think I do just Tower for Little Pig, right? Alternatively, I can Tower for Seeker of Untouched Beauty and then play Little Pig. That gets me a bunch of stuff on board. That might actually just be scary enough to deal with whatever they're doing. Because like, now the game's kind of ending soon, so I have enough action in hand anyways. So I don't really need to be trying super hard to ramp, right? Right, in that case, so I attack with all my creatures, I play Tower Over the Sky, I grab Seeker of Touch Beauty, deploy Little Pig without adventuring it first, and get a pretty big board. Alright, let's go with that. Let's start racing. I take? Okay, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's Tower of the Sky for X equals 1. I probably should mention it. Chat. Yep. Again, last chance to go for Little Pig instead of Seeker, and I'd rather go for Seeker. Like, just get stuff on board, start beating down, win before they can tempo me out. Actually, no, they're trying to win before I can tempo them out. I don't know which way it goes. But yeah, since they're a tempo deck, they're not very good at dealing with wide boards, or efficient boards like this. And, oh, Panya. Alright, that's actually quite scary, because, so, what, they get to Panya, so they get to whack me in air for 6, and Team of Falconeer is going to be growing a bit, so I guess I'll be chumping it with a Secret of Untouched Beauty. Yep, they activate the Panya too. And if they top like a burn spell, well, I'm actually in quite some trouble. And they do get to scry 1, so, I mean, not super unlikely that they find a burn spell somewhere in the pile. No, I'm still fine. Like, they can't kill me this turn, and if I ever untap, I have a huge board. I don't see how they're... and then I just swing in with everything. And, like, that's... They have to leave stuff back to chump, right? Because this is lethal if they don't chump. Like these three guys are swinging for 11 just by themselves, and the birds are like always getting through. If things don't go according to plan, I just tower over this guy. Like if I top deck a land, I like just coalesce EHS. If I don't top deck a land, I coalesce tower over this guy, grabbing another secret untouched beauty. Or no, I just grab Little Pig because I have extra mana lying around, so might as well just take advantage of the Little Pig. Wait, I'm out of Little Pigs. No, I have one Little Pig left in deck. Propo's definitely thinking about if they want the top card or not. I'm suspecting it is something like Burn Spell. Actually, maybe it's a Crest. Like, Crest would be really good here because it bounces my tower over this guy. Or they can just Crest their own Cane Dancer and then get another Cane Dancer trigger. They're not swinging with Team of Falconeer. Okay, so they did not draw Crest. That's for sure. Because if they drew Crest, they would have crested the tower over this guy and start swinging. I am down to 8 though, which is kind of scary. Also, Team of Falconeer is a 3-5 now, so it will block my 3-3s. Still not a problem though, because I still have lethal this turn if I swing out, and they have no tricks. I mean, they probably have a trick. They had plenty of scries to look for it. Like, what would they have to do to not die to my swing next turn? If they kill one of my 3-3s, that's 8 plus, that's exactly 12 damage, so they only have to block the 3-3 to not die. Well, that's a pretty good top deck, wouldn't you say? Yeah, well, if they have a counter spell, the Portal Faction doesn't do it because I have the 2. Alright, yay! Do you concede? Oh, they're thinking. Do they have plays around this? If they burn one of my guys, they still die to this, right? Like the 5-5 trampler, or birds are 8 damage by themselves, and then the DC guys have trample. I mean, it's probably lethal. If it's not lethal, then and they kill me on swing back, then oops, I guess I deserve it, or they deserve to win. Like this has just been super great draw for me this game. It's each other creature, right? Yeah. If they have Cane Dancer, what can they even do? I guess they can crest one of my guys. Like crest the tower, block. They lose some guys. Time Flourishing is still in play, so like I don't think I'm at risk of dying. I'm just gonna swing with everything and see how they respond. It seems like they're just trumping. Like, do they have anything in hand? What's their one card that's gonna save them here? It is Crest, right? Like, I think Crest or Cane Dancer is the only thing that doesn't make them die immediately. Yep, it is Cane Dancer. Alright, so they get to do some tricky stuff. Power goes, I guess, back to the realm where it came from. And they get to draw off the Crest, or to investigate off the Crest. They might actually come back to the game, if that's how it's gonna go. Like, they survive the turn, they get another draw. If they draw another Cane Dancer, I mean, that's a lot of things they can do. The Team of Falconeer is gonna bounce off the Little Pig. And I guess they're just gonna stop some damage, I guess. Yeah. I think they're thinking about whether they want to trade with Little Pig or not. Or like Little block the Little Pig to trade with it. Seems like they're not. Okay, sure. And I just pass. Now let's see if they can swing back the game this turn. Or actually, if they have 2 burn spells, then yes, they can't kill me because they only have 1 blocker. Or a bounce pile, yeah, or a crest plus a burn spell. That also does it. So yeah, this game has come extremely close. In fact, I'm surprised by how close it's come, despite me drawing super well. The purple just managed to hang on with their deck. Getaway Rider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's flying. Okay. Well, Silent Flourishing is blocking here, and they didn't have an answer. Okay, they did not have a burn spell to close out the game. Dude, that was a close one. Anyways, for sideboarding, Solar Flares come in, Creature Kill comes in, Shepherd Nowhere comes in. What comes out? Arming Marauder has 0 targets. Children is really good, but like, because they have no answers to it. Well, Ramsey isn't great because it doesn't really block what their main threats in the deck are. I'll cut a Little Pig because this might be a fast match up. Like, it's not going to go late, I don't think. And I'll cut some EHSs because I never liked that card. And do I just ship it back like this? I do need some Ramses, like, just some of them, just as ramp options on 2. Actually, I'll go to Sackbow. Sackbow is quite good because it's Grave Hate, but I don't want to bring in more because I can't find space for it. Do I just go Molly? Here, I'll just go Sackbow instead of Endless. Well, no, Sackbow isn't great against Tempo decks because like Sackbow takes advantage of the time when you don't do anything or when your opponent's not doing much. Like against Tempo deck, your opponent wants to do everything. Actually, might be a good massing to use while I'm playing around counter spells. Yeah, I'll give this a shot. And let's see. Interesting hand. If I had Primal Resurgence, this would be insane. Since I don't, then do I mulligan this? Yeah, sure, I'm mulligan this. And, well, this stand does things, so I'll keep it. And I bottom the Tyrant Tributes, right? Yeah, because Tyrant's not going to come down until way later. But yeah, I have a pretty slow start this game too. So turn 1, play New Divide Tap. Turn 2, hold up Twisted Masterwork for end step. If they have a handful of counter spells like in game 1, then this be really good because it forces them to waste some mana on their early turns. Alright, they kept. I'm assuming it's turn 1. Yeah, they're gonna keep up Cosmic Synchro on turn. Another Twisted Masterwork. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm getting exactly what I needed to draw. Panya on turn 1. Alright, that's a bit scarier. If they follow up with Temur Falconeer, then that's quite a big problem because I can't deal with Temur Falconeer. Oh dear. I guess they got their nut draw this game. Alright, so I mean they're tapped out now. So do I go Ramsey or Twisted Masterwork? Twisted Masterwork will provide me with more mana over the course of the game, but Ramsey also provides a body, which can chump Temur Falconeer for a bit. Is chumping Temur Falconeer what I want to do with Ramsey? I mean, I have nothing better to do with it. Might as well use the bodies for something, because the rest of their deck is flyers. So what's my plan here? I go Ramsey. If they tap out for Getaway Rider, then they're probably, if they have Getaway Rider in hand and the mana to play, they're probably going to slam on turn 3, which will tap them out, and then I can end up turn Twisted Masterwork, or no, that only works if I'm gonna play. I'm gonna draw, so my curve doesn't work out that well. Alright, in that case, I would like just do it the normal way. And I will play out Ramsey because they're tapped out, so might as well use the opportunity to play Sorcery Speed ramp card instead of Instant Speed 1. Unfortunately, I can't really do much against these guys beating in. Oh, this triggers for each flyer. Oh, then that's quite a problem. Why did it not attack with Temur Falconeer anyways? Like, it's a free attack, right? I guess it isn't blocked Antelope. Like, it's not gonna... It bounces off Ramsey on the first attack. But yeah, Temur Falconeer gets 2 counters, and I don't think I have a way to deal with it. I guess that's why it's a tempo deck. It's because it's a Temur Falconeer is a 2-drop that can run away with the game. So what's my... Ripper of Nowhere is my only answer to this thing. Ramsey at least can chump this guy for 2 turns. Unless the purple starts bringing out the removal spells, but I doubt they would. How bad is it to press a Masterwork for Higgins and then get killed or countered? Pretty bad because I have to waste from the Ramsey. I have to waste Ramsey mana to do it. Do I have any better options? I can go like end of turn double Twisted Masterwork. That's not great. Like end of turn double Twisted Masterwork ramping up to 5, but they have nothing to use the mana on except Tower, which is really expensive. Tower is not great into counter spells. I didn't look at their sideboard at all while I was sideboarding. But like they probably brought in some more counter spells, including Still Pandemonium, which like how do you spell it? I'm bad at spelling. Yeah, there it is. Including Still Pandemonium, which isn't a cost-based counter, so they can counter me even if I have a bunch of mana. So yeah, do I keep a Twisted Masterwork for Higgins, or do I just go for it? I think I should just go for a thing that's the least bad for me if it gets countered, because they probably have an answer, so that means I should just Tower for Higgins. Or no, I mean Tower for Little Pig. Actually, if they have a counter spell, they probably, like, the right play here is to let me fetch out the Little Pig first, and then counter the Adventure on the way down. And then counter the Adventure as it's being cast. That way I don't have a second, because it sends the Little Pig out of my deck, and I only have a limited number of those things. They don't know that I boarded. Alright, sure. Yeah, but like if they knew that I boarded out one of my Little Pigs, and I drew the other one, then they probably should have countered the Little Pig as it was coming down and being cast, because that means subsequent towers literally do nothing. Did I block with Ramsey or Antelope? I think I'll block with Ramsey. Or actually, no. I'll block with the Antelope. Because Ramsey, if I ever top deck more Primary Resurgences, then Ramsey gives me a small bonus. Like, I don't think the 1 damage really matters. It might matter if they have Getaway Rider and start generating tokens, but if the game comes down to that point, then either I've won or lost already. So like I should probably just make sure that Ramsey has the right power and toughness. Temur Falconeer is about to be a 5/7. But yeah, literally the only thing in my deck that deals with it is Ripper of Nowhere, which I do need to ramp super hard in order to get to. Well, I get one more chump with Ramsey. Alright. Well, at least I don't have to fetch more off-color lands anymore, because I have my off-color, or I have my white source. So I can keep up Twisted Masterwork for Higgins. I think that's what I'll do. If they have any removal spells, they're probably going to use it on Ramsey, and they only have 2 cards in hand, so hopefully they're only holding a single removal spell, and then they use it on Ramsey, which means I get to Twisted Masterwork out Higgins, and they're just going to pass. Alright, so probably means they don't have an instant speed removal, or just holding it for specifically for instant speed stuff like Higgins. What do I even do if I manage to land to Higgins? Like, I untap and get to tower, but how much do I even get to tower for? Oh, Right, they can just like do this and then yeah, then they can just save the removal spell for Higgins. You know, I have 2 Twisted Masswork, so like if the first one doesn't work, I can play a land next turn and then force the Higgins through, which gives me 4 mana to play around with after the Higgins, right? Or no, 6 mana because I have an untapped land coming. Okay, that might have, or no, it's still 4 mana to play around with. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna chump with Ramsey. I don't want to take too much damage because it puts me in burn range. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. If they have an answer, then whatever. They only got rid of my first Twisted Masswork. They do have an answer. It's Portal Factory. Oh, okay, so they're holding both the counter spell and the removal spell. That's what I'm getting from them. They're thinking of the best way to answer this, and they're gonna counter it. Yeah, with Cane Dancer. I mean, that's fine because that means there's still 2 Higgins left in my deck. It doesn't reduce my Higgin count. More lands. If they have Cosmic Sinkhole, then they can punish me pretty hard. So, yeah, Twisted Masswork out the Higgins. That puts me at 4 mana. I don't have enough to deal with at 4. Well, if they don't have Cosmic Sinkhole, then I can Twisted Masswork out a Little Pig. You know, it's a bit late for that. I can Twisted Masswork out a Seeker, which will chump the Temur Falconeer. Is that better than just like hard casting Little Pig's Adventure? If I hard cast Little Pig's Adventure, that leaves me completely vulnerable for a turn, and so they just kill me. So yeah, I do need to get chump blockers into play. Oh, okay. I hope they don't have a crest. That's what I do here. The plan here is I Tower of the Sky for Little Pig. So that puts me up to 8 mana next turn, which means I can Twisted Masswork out or Twisted Masswork for Shepherd of Nowhere. And that's better outcome because I need to kill Temur's Falconeer. Like if this thing doesn't die, then I lose the game. And they're getting Tower of the Sky for 6 gets me the most number of chump blockers. Does that seem logical? Does that seem better than just towering for Little Pig? Actually, no, because I need to draw land. All right, I'm just gonna go for it. Like, I'm just first going to see if Tower of the Sky resolves. If it doesn't, then I can start thinking. Or if it does, then I can start thinking about what to do with the fetch. And it does resolve, so I do have to think about it now. So yeah, Little Pig or Seeker of Untouched Beauty. I think Little Pig gives me the best short-term outcome because Little Pig immediately ramps me into Twisted Masswork for Shepherd of Nowhere no matter what happens. So yes, I go for Little Pig. And then just hope that they don't have a removal spell for Tower of the Sky. Because the 5/5 is going to be on trumping duty. I think they're off counter spells. Like if they had a counter spell, they would have used it on Little Pig. So that's a good sign for me. Yeah, next turn I have Twisted Masswork or Shepherd of Nowhere. And I can just hold that thing up for or I can just hold that thing up for when they tap out or something. That's extremely scary. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have to chump here, so I will chump here. I have to assume they have a counter spell, and the reason they didn't counter the Tower of the Sky was because they knew that whatever I ramped into, they had to counter spell for. I'm assuming they're holding a Portal Factor or like I'm assuming they're holding a Portal Factor or a Cosmic Sinkhole because if they're only holding Still Pandemonium, that no, they don't have. All right, so I mean they have land play remaining, so maybe they're just doing this to find another land so they can keep up their Portal Factor. All right, seems like they've made their choice. Oh, they're doing this so that once Shepherd of Nowhere comes down, they still get enough fuel to refuel. Oh, there's Primal Surgeons. So what are the chances that they're holding a counter spell? The answer is extremely high. Well, they can't be holding a Cane Dancer. Like Cane Dancer does not do it here. So what they have still in front of board they brought in 2 Spell Pierces and 2 Still Pandemoniums. So they're on 12 counter spells. And so far, I've seen 1 counter spell so far. Yeah. Well, do I have any other play? If I don't go for that play, then what happens? I can play out both Little Pigs. I'm Temur Falconeer for one more turn, but then they just get to activate Panya and kill me. Actually, so as much as I want to Twisted Masswork in response to Panya activation, I can't do that because if I don't do anything, then Temur Falconeer just comes through and kills me. So I need to play a Trumper, and in order to force them to activate Panya. Okay, so I think I should play it now before they draw because no matter what happens, if I don't answer it now, then I just lose. So yes, I will go for it now at varsity speed, and they have it. Okay, yeah. Well, I couldn't have expected anything different. So, anyways, that was beating. I think I do bring out Sackbow because Sackbow wouldn't have been good that game, right? Just not enough time to do anything or do everything that I want. I'll bring in one of the Little Pigs back. Maybe I go with EHS instead. What's the chance of EHS hitting something good? If I go with that, then what? Time Flourishing. I mean, it was good that game, Well, like the way I win isn't gonna be through Silent Flourishing, I don't think. So I'll bring one out. Maybe I just go with the HSs. No, maybe I just go down to one Ramsey. I mean, Ramsey was decent that game because it jumped twice. Like usually it's not that great. All right, this could be completely wrong, but I'm gonna run it anyways. Maybe I take out Children's. Like Children's instant speed. That makes it really good. All right, this feels extremely wrong, but I'm willing to try it. That's extremely slow hand. Can I risk keeping this hand? What, turn 1 Seeker, so that's extremely bad against Flyers. It's decent against Team Falconeer because they're forced to attack into eventually. I have no play on turn 2, and turn 3 EHS gets countered. I don't think I can keep this, so I'm gonna mulligan. And this is a hand with Primal Resurgence, so I keep. In fact, it's actually a pretty great hand with Primal Resurgence because I have Primal plus some plays. Unfortunately, actually, yeah, I can use Amber Hills to fetch my red source, so I will be able to cast all the cards in my hand. Although if I draw any white cards later on, I will have to find a white source. But yeah, since I'm gonna play, I get to go turn on Primal Resurgence without worrying about Cosmic Sinkhole. And next turn, I just go Amber Hills after on tap. Do I use Twisted Masterwork as ramp or Anzin? I'm surprised by the number of Twisted Masterworks I've drawn this entire match. And Twisted Masterwork is one of the better cards in this matchup because it's instant speed. So they're probably holding a Cosmic Sinkhole. If I play Sackbow out, then it lets me play around Cosmic Sinkhole. But Sackbow dies to burn. Maybe I should play out Sackbow when it doesn't die to burn, because Sackbow will be pretty good, because it can kind of match Team Falconeer in how it grows. And I should just keep ramping. I should play Amber Hills untapped and pass. And then I'll end of turn Twisted Masterwork for Seeker, ramp me by 1. And then I can slam at Sackbow with 2 mana up. Having to fetch an off-color basic with the Seeker, though, is kind of painful, because that means that's less Sackbow activations. Oh, they're gonna Panya. Okay. Do I let this resolve? Yes, I do, because if they play out Team Falconeer, I want to kill that thing before it gets counters off Panya. Like, I'm willing to let Panya stick around for a bit. I'm not willing to let Team Falconeer stick around for any length of time. They don't have Team Falconeer. Alright, sure. I mean, that's still fine. I just end up turn Twisted Masterwork. If they have a counter spell, they have a counter spell, and they can use it on my Twisted Masterwork. Like, I'm fine with this thing getting countered. Actually, going for this play kind of implies to Purple that I have a Solar Flare in hand. Because if I didn't have a Solar Flare in hand, I would have always Twisted Masterworked in response to Panya. So yeah, they're thinking pretty hard. Actually, if this doesn't resolve, and I don't draw a land next turn, I might be in a bit of trouble. If I do draw a land next turn, though, that's really good, because then I get to keep up Sackbow, or I get to play Sackbow and still keep up Solar Flare. Oh, they let it happen. Alright, that's nice. So they're probably holding up a Portal Factor or something, yeah. And I'll let the Mountain be tapped. Alright, let's see what I draw off the top. Oh, that's exactly what I needed. I'm getting all of my off-color lands. So I just play Sackbow and pass. Actually, I'm at 5 mana. What can I Twisted Masterwork for at 4? Nothing good. I can Twisted Masterwork for Higgins, but that doesn't do anything because I have nothing good in hand. So yeah, I just play out Sackbow, and I'll tap, and I'll remember to like tap like this, just to make sure that I have enough green mana to do whatever I want with Sackbow. Or well, no, this thing's fetching red. Yeah, I didn't just massacre myself, or I didn't just force myself to sack Amber Hills for a non-ideal source. I like force myself to not cast Solar Flare this turn. Although to be fair, I'd rather prefer to fetch Lumbering Hillock with this Amber Hills, because I am sort of running out of stuff in hand. So if I get a Lumbering Hillock, that at least guarantees that I'll still have some sort of pressure even as I run out of steam. But yeah, most of the game is just going to be how Purple plays around Sackbow. I'm willing to keep taking Panya hits. Is this Ragavan? Yeah, sure, that's fine. Alright, if they have a burn spell and they want to kill Sackbow, this is going to be kind of tricky. Okay, yeah, I should have sacked Amber Hills way earlier. What happens if I sack this for Lumbering Hillock and the Sackbow gets killed? I'm actually fine with that, so I will do it now. You have a removal spell you want to use? No, you don't. Okay, good to know. And I'm just going to exile the Amber Hills to... It's like they don't have any removal spells, or maybe they do, and they want to respond to the last Sackbow activation. Alright, I think I'm in a very good position right now, especially after this, because now I can Twisted Masterwork for 5, and Twisted Masterwork for 5 gets me Earthbreaker Behemoth, which is a very good card in this matchup. I think I just keep around Twisted Masterwork though, right? Is there anything super great I can fetch out with it? Not really. I attack with Sackbow, right? Like, this is a race, and I'm fine with Ragavan and Lack Me once, right? I'm not sure. I can Solar Flare plus Twisted Master out Bessie's Brood. That's not the best use of my mana, but that's something I can do to just wipe their board. But yeah, what are they keeping up 2 mana this entire time for? I guess if things really go south, I can just animate Lumbering Hillock and trump or block Ragavan. Now the question is, how willing am I to expose Lumbering Hillock to a burn spell? How good is trading Lumbering Hillock for burn spell? 1, 2. I want my mana. I care about my mana too much. Why Solar Flare Ragavan? Well, I mean, anything that is scary will happen post. If anything that can be scary is a lot less scary post combat, so I'm just gonna Solar Flare Ragavan now and see if they want to respond to it. You don't have any 3-drops, right? Or any 3-drops that they want to play post combat. That kind of limits what they can play. I wonder if they actually just board it out to get away riders, because I guess they do. They are not the best card in this matchup because you want to just cut your slowest cards. Because this matchup is all about speed and getting under the ramp deck before it can go over you. And like I complain about this ramp deck not being able to go over the top, but against tempo deck like Purple, is like this deck's perfectly capable of going over the top. Because a tempo deck can't survive forever, but like a mid-rangey or value-oriented deck can just grind against this deck and beat it pretty nicely. Because again, this deck doesn't have active value. It has a few ramp targets, and once it tutors all of them out, it's just out of steam. And it just has to make do with big vanilla fatties with big vanilla fatties with ETB effects. Right, there's Nebula. So Panya is going to go to town pretty soon. But Panya is a good thing to keep up, or Twisted Masterwork is a good thing to keep up against Panya, because if Purple ever tries to go for the Panya tail, I'm just going to Twisted Masterwork out Earthbreaker Behemoth and kill it, and then get back to attacking them. Like, this is just a race, right? And like the Sack Bolt is doing a pretty good job at racing them. No Tower of this guy, that's interesting. I don't think I can actually afford to play it right now, because keep it Twisted Masterwork for Panya is just so important to prevent them from getting a free turn. Or is it? So what if I just Tower for Little Pig, and then that gets me some more mana for next, so that like now Twisted Masterwork can start grabbing Triumph Tributes and Shepherd of Nowheres. This is only 2 lands away from grabbing a Shepherd of Nowhere. I mean, no matter what happens, I'm going to attack, so I should attack first and see how they respond to this. Just take. Alright, I'm just gonna pass and help Twisted Masterwork. Like, if they want to go for it, they can. I'm really hoping they go for a Panya tail. I doubt they would, because there's way too much. There's like 6 cards in hand, so they have way better things to be doing rather than sinking 5 mana to something that easily blow or easily get punished. But I'm hoping they go for it. If they don't go for it, then I'm still gonna. Twisted Masterwork's probably gonna get countered, but that's fine. No, I end step Higgins, right? Because that lets Tower grab something super nice. If Higgins gets killed, then that's fine, because no, that's not fine, because Panya gets a free activation. Yeah, maybe I should have just played Tower, because playing Tower would have let me grab Little Pig and play Little Pig, so that's another 3/3 in addition to the ramp. Falconeer. Alright, that's troubling. Yeah, I have to let it resolve. I mean, I can't answer it. So assuming I'm playing around Portal Factor here. I can't play around Portal Factor, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. I can grab Bessie's Brood and kill Temur Falconeer, so I will do that. Yeah, I need to tap it like this. If they have a counter spell, then I don't know. If they have a removal spell, it's also super bad for me. So yeah, I shouldn't have done that actually. If they are going to counter it, still pan. Yeah. All right, that's concerning. On the bright side, at least Temur Falconeer still dies to power for Bessie's Brood. Or wait, where did the second count? Oh, okay, good. It's still at 1/3. And Purple's tapped out, so unfortunately not much free reign here. So I tower over the sky for Bessie's Brood, kill the Temur Falconeer, except that Panya is gonna get a free turn. Hope that I can still win the race despite that. Yeah, seems pretty solid. 1, 2, and I get to play Primal Resurgence. Right. Do I want to split the Primal Resurgences? How many Ramses do I have in deck that would make this matter? I only have 1 Ramsey left. I probably should split the Primal Resurgences just so I can spend my mana more efficiently, or at least less annoyingly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Like I would have enough for stuff after that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Power for X equals 3. And they're tapped out, so I finally get to bring out my Bessie's Brood, kill the Temur Falconeer. And I've towered for, let me see, 5, 6. No, I couldn't have towered for Earthbreaker, no matter what I did. That was the correct play. Okay, so I have any lands in the yard? Is there any lands in the yard? Like Purple is pretty careful about not dumping lands off Ominous Discoveries. Or maybe they just got lucky. Anyways, yeah, take another 4 unless you want to chump. And this is actually going to be a pretty tough decision for Purple, because they're just going to chump. Okay, sure. The next turn, I get to tower over the sky. But this turn, purple gets to activate Panya, so that hits me for a 6 in total across the 2 turns, plus whatever else he drops in the meantime. I mean, if they want to activate Panya, this would be a great time to do it because I have nothing else. Like, I'm empty-handed, so they have no real obligations right now to answer, or no instant speed removal to play around. If they activate Panya Tail, I mean, all it does is, so it's like 5 mana, draw a card, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Not the worst Panya that could have happened to me. Like 5 mana explore, and I guess me for 1 is an acceptable outcome for me. They have 6 cards in hand though, so they could have any number of things that screw me over. And they're at 5 mana now, so they can do a lot of those things. I mean, their graveyard's absolutely stocked. If they have Cane Dancers, they'd be very happy. More Ominous Discoveries. Sure, I mean, you're gonna you're gonna bin land eventually off these things, and then I'll finally get another bow activation. You can't keep missing lands forever. Okay, they did bin the land. Okay, good. Time for my free bow activation. And next turn, I'm just gonna tower for 1. I'm out of little pigs, right? No, I've never towered for a little pig yet, right? Okay, but like I'm not gonna tower for a little pig. I'm just gonna tower for a seeker, or no, I have 7 mana. I can tower for a little pig because I have nothing else to do with my 1 remaining mana. But like purple's on the back foot now because they have to start playing down creatures to chump, and I don't think that's something like Temple deck wants to do when they don't have pressure either. Looking at Falconer, that's quite scary. And they have 2 mana up to represent any sort of counter tricky stuff. But it's just Cane Dancer. Like, it's always going to be Cane Dancer here. And Cane Dancer has access to a bunch of different effects that they can pick from. Yeah, I should probably just, end of turn. Alright, I'm going to end of turn Magmac Torrent that. Or Sackbold Magmac Torrent. And then, let's see, Ramsey. Somehow I got punished for not sacking out my Primary Resurgences onto 1 land by trying to only copy Ramsey in the deck. Is Ramsey good? Okay, so I always attack first, right? Yeah, I always attack first. No, Cane Dancer, Remnus. They're not going to Cane Dancer Remnus. Like, that's just bad, right? I don't know they don't know what's in my hand, so like, they're not going to Cane Dancer Remnus. Or is that they might, so, yeah. The Cane Dancer Remnus will screw me over a bunch. I'm just hoping they don't do that. Or no, they can't really Cane Dancer because I have a Sack Bowl. They're not holding Cane Dancer, which means they must be holding a counter spell that they want to use. Or at least I'm assuming in the best case scenario, they're holding a counter spell that they want to use on me. Which means I shouldn't be towering into the counter spell. I'm just going to attack first and see how they respond to this. Like, they have to chump somewhat. They need to chump somewhere because otherwise they just die. They're going to chump with the bird. Sure. And on the Discovery goes, right, that's why I probably should have, like, towered before combat. Because it prevents them from Ominous Discovering and hitting a counter spell off that. How much value had they gotten off the Ominous Discoveries this game? Question is, how bad would it be if I play into counterspell? I mean, it's not that bad. Like if okay, so if I pass without playing Ramsey, they're forced to play around tower, or they're forced to play around the Twisted Masterwork because that's extremely likely for me to have it. Well, at least if I go with that play pattern. If I play out Ramsey, then you get 2 extra things on field. I think that's worth more than making my opponent paranoid. I'm just gonna play out Ramsey, right? And what happens if I tower and then keep a bow activation? Like, that's fine. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Alright, show me your counter spell. Sure. Oh, wait, Portal Factor makes a token. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Alright, that was a horrible play. Now let's hope that this doesn't screw me over that much. No, they get free swing with Team Falconeer. Yeah, they can easily just get back in the game now. That was not a very good play. I should have just played Ramsey and passed. I got too greedy. And the worst part is, like, playing tower now doesn't actually make my situation any better than if I just waited, because it doesn't matter when I can play tower. It does matter because now I still don't have any plays left over. Right, they're just gonna keep throwing the Teamer Falconeer, and now it blocks Bessie's Brood. So what's something that can get me out of this? I mean, a top decking one of the top end creatures would be pretty nice. Although I can't really cast. I can't cast Tyrant Tributes right now, but I can cast Shepherd of Nowhere, and that would be pretty good. No, it won't. It wouldn't because it resets my bowl. Actually, no, I can just sack the bowl and gain a life and still make it token off. Yeah, you're just gonna spam the board with some creatures to force through some damage, or you get chump blockers on the field. Well, Solar Flare. Okay, that's nice. My 3/8 Lumbering Hillock attack with everything. What does that get me? Forces some blocks. Gets them low enough to where Solar Flare becomes a real problem for them. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what they do against this attack. I don't think they have any life gain in their deck, so. And Solar Flare is instant speed, so I'm just gonna hold this thing up until I find an opportunity to fire it off. Let me collect just have to do 2 damage before Solar Flare becomes lethal. Oh, they have Cane Dancer. Oh, they're gonna sack the clue now. Okay, sure. Void Flare? Is it time for Void Flare? You don't gust. Yeah, that also does that. Are you like gonna let me connect? Like you can't afford to let me connect, right? Because you know I boarded in Solar Flares. They're gonna try to. They're like trading down pretty hard. Alright, sure. Like I'm willing to trade away my land for a team of Falconeer. That's a good trade for me. In fact, especially since now I get to activate Sackbow on the Lumbering Hillock. They whack me for 4 next turn. I can play Ramsey to prevent some of that damage, but you know what? I'm willing to tap out. Or if Ramsey resolves it, oh, Portal Fracture, right? So that meant I should have like played around that by playing Ramsey first and then animating. Yeah, that would have been way better. So now I'm dead to a burn spell, and they probably have one. Or, no, they don't. They don't have a burn spell because if they did, they would have been attacking me, right? Or they would have gotten lethal on me already. Okay, they're leaving some guys back. They're gonna let me untap a Sackbow, which is nice. Unless they crested or something. They don't have crests. Okay, good to know. Sackbow number 2. Unfortunately, Andon's making everyone a bit land poor right now. Or lands in the graveyard a bit poor. What do I do here? I always play out the second Sackbow, right? There's no downside to playing that out, and then I swing with the first Sackbow. They're forced to jump every turn. Like, there's no point in growing this thing any further because this thing does lethal in 1 hit. That's really the only thing I need my Sackbow for. Anyway, second Sackbow and then pass a turn. I can grow the second Sackbow into a 3/3. Also the first Sackbow, if it ever gets killed, then at least I can give some life off of it and not lose the race. They swing with Panya. Sure, I take. I mean, we know from last turn that they don't have any burn in hand, so unless they top deck the burn spell, I still have 1 more turn before I'm like in big danger. Alright, they just pass. Sure, I'll exile my Lumbering Hillock to first Sackbow. Like also start exiling my opponent's yard. Right? No, I want to keep 3 mana up in case. See which I'm gonna get rid of Teal and Gust first. That's the most scary thing with Cane Dancer because they can easily one shot me with that. No point in. Okay, not the best, but not the worst. If I swing, they chump with 2 things. Or they chump out. Well, if they chump out 1 through, then I get to cast Solar Flare with a bunch of mana backup, and they can't afford to let that happen. So let's see. I swing with both bowls. Chump with both, and they whack me down to 1. The Solar Flare can prevent that from being too big of a problem. So how much do I care about getting rid of their board? That's really the big question here. Am I willing to take 2 damage in order to get rid of a 1/1 from their board? The answer is probably not, but interesting question. And what? Screw it. A math for blockers. I'm gonna swing with everything. And now they have to think too. If they have a burn spell, they can point at Sackbow and then trade something into it. If they have the burn spell, they'll use it already. I think they're thinking about whether they want to trade Ragavan plus a Scout for my 3/3 Sackbow. If that happens, I think I'm alright with letting that Sackbow die. And they're not trading. Right, sure. They're just chumping. Maybe I shouldn't have let Lumbering Hillock die so quickly. Oh well. Also just to make sure I haven't missed anything, right? Like I have nothing else I can do. So Children of the Clouds would be a great top deck here. I have a lot of good top decks. Any of the top end would be good top deck. Any of the tutors would be a great top deck. I mean, the tutors are basically just top end. EHS, Children of the Clouds, great top decks. But they're leaving the Panya behind, so I don't know what that says about their hand. But Ragavan just attack me and makes a treasure token. That's fine. Okay, they have burn. If they use burn, then I can Solar Flare the face in response to not die. They don't have burn, right? Anyways, time for the bulls to start munching on all of their stuff. I'm just gonna try to get rid of all the portal factors while I still can. I'm not gonna tap out. Like I don't know what they have in hand, and I don't want to tap out to find out. Oh, okay. Are they gonna try to burn me out? So I'm like this right now. Oh boy. Do they have 2 burn spells? I guess that kind of wrecks me. So I died to a burn spell plus. I died to a burn spell plus a counter spell. Oh dear. King Dash is fine. Yeah, I can let that happen. Oh great. Right. I can't prevent this because if I tap out, I risk too much. I have to let it happen. Like I'm playing like they have a burn spell in hand, so yeah, I can't let my guard down. All right. And well, that's exactly one of the good top decks I've talked about. So how am I gonna best use that? Attack with the big Sackbow, I attack the smaller one. Like they have to block both of them, or else they die to Solar Flare. And they're playing assuming I have a Solar Flare in hand, so I'm gonna play like they if they let this Sackbow through, they die unless they have a Steel Pandemonium. So I'd recommend that you don't let that thing through. They're thinking, what else could they have? Oh, they have a mountain. They have a mountain in their yard now. Wait, I just realized. If both the creatures die, I can't actually cast Children of the Clouds because my mana is coming from. Yeah, that I did not think that through. All right, looks like I'm falling back on Solar Flare now. I mean, yeah, sure, raid's fine, but now I have to. Now I have to pass and hope that they either play a creature or I top deck a land next turn, and I only have Solar Flare to save me. Actually, no, I have the Sack Bulls. Like Sack Bull is 8. It's an 8 life buffer if I need to access it. I technically have 10 or 13 life to work with, while they only have 5. Like they have no life buffer. All right, yeah, the jig is up. All right, Solar Flare face. Let's see how they respond. Wait, this is a bad play because now I'm still dead to a burn spell. But no, if they point burn spell at my face, it causes my 3/3 sack bowl to die, which is it's basically equivalent to pointing at the sack bowl, I guess. They're doing something? Is this a portal factor? All right, it seems like they do have something. If it's a Chill and Gust at face, then yeah, I have to sack my 3/3 sack bowl in response. Oh, 3 colors. Pay that? Yeah, I kind of have to. Do I tap out what? Yeah, I'm not gonna Children's this turn. Like, I can't risk Childrening. Yeah, okay, I have to pay for that. Do you have a Chill and Gust as your last card in hand? Is that how I'm gonna die? Yeah, okay. You got me. I could have prevented that if I just sacked my sack bowl instead of letting the portal factor happen, but like that's so bad for me because I'm down a sack bowl and they're up 2 tokens which are white, so that doesn't even help me with children. No, like this was a bad play. Like I knew I had children in hand, so and it was very likely for me to either they get enough creatures to activate children or I draw enough lands to activate children. I should have just played it safe, use my sack bowl, see it in life, and then try to turn the game around with the Children of the Clouds. But yeah, they got me before I got them. So the last game did come down right to the wire. Well, like I couldn't have asked for a better back and forth game. Like this game was extremely tense with lots of decisions that I stumbled on, no doubt. Like that turn where I coalesced the Tower of the Sky instead of just playing out the Pronouncer Preserves, or I guess Ramsey. But yeah, I guess I mean I only have one loss, so if I win the next round, then I still get to top cut. But yeah, you guys in the next round of the GP.